Welcome. We have reached a stage to enter the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras. Our learning of Vedic mathematics is to be for teaching the same. Before we formally enter the mathematical domain, we shall have an overview of this domain. The overview of this domain shall be in the form of visits. Firstly, about Ganita Sutra 1 itself as a source sutra. By source sutra, we mean that the entire mathematical domain will unfold itself from within Ganita Sutra 1 itself. Therefore, the overview visit of mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras will get focused upon the overview of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1. We have to be face to face with the overview features of Ganita Sutra 1 as a source sutra. The 16 letters of Ganita Sutra 1 will prove to be the structural keys of the mathematical domains of Ganita Sutra 1 to 16, and further, as the values range 1 to 16 is of 29 factors range. Therefore, the range of 13 Ganita Sutras will of their own emerge. As such, the overview of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1, which is to begin with Sutra 1, will go in the next phase into the mathematical domain of 16 sutras. This mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras, in terms of the interrelationship of mathematical domains of these sutras, same deserves to be overviewed as step 1 as of Ganita Sutras 1 and 14. Ganita Sutra 1 with its rule 1 more than before, and Ganita Sutra 14 with its rule 1 less than before, in a way may appear as if only one of them is sufficient. Though if we are restricting ourselves only up till linear order mathematics, then this conclusion may be appropriate. However, as the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras is transcending much beyond the linear order. It is linear order, spatial order, solid order, creative order, transcendental order, and self-referral order, which are being formatted here in the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra. Therefore, the rule 1 more than before and rule 1 less than before will get coordinated as distinct features of domain dimension format. +1 space as domain and -1 space as dimension get coordinated as one space itself being of negative linear order. Therefore, The mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 as such is of linear progression with a domain fold, and on the other hand, Ganita Sutra 14 with its rule one less than before takes us to the mathematical domain along the dimension format as negative linear dimensional order of positive linear domain. It is this difference of the formats Sutra 1 processing along the domain fold and Sutra 14 processing along the dimension fold format makes all the difference. Therefore, the overview of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras as per their internal relationship permits us to have distinct overview of mathematical domains of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Sutra 14. The next phase of overview of mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras takes us to Ganita Sutras 5 and 6. Both Ganita Sutra 5 and Ganita Sutra 6 work out the mathematical domain of zero order. Zero space is the focus of mathematical domains of Ganita Sutras 5 and 6. Ganita Sutra 5 as such is the mathematical domain of zero space as domain, and the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 6 is as well of zero space but in different roles. The different roles of zero space as such are the subject matter of chase of the mathematical domains of Ganita Sutras 5 and 6, but both as such as are availing different roles of Eurospace as such both make out distinct mathematical processes. The third step of overview of Ganita Sutras comes to be the mathematical domains of Ganita Sutra 8 and 9. One may have a pause here and take note that the Ganita Sutra 8 and 9 are having 16 letters each. Like Ganita Sutra 1, which is availing 16 letters for its composition, Ganita Sutras 8 and 9 as well are availing 16 letters each. Step ahead, Ganita Sutras 15 and 16 as well are availing 16 letters each. These 5 sutras, namely Ganita Sutra 1, Ganita Sutra 8, Ganita Sutra 9, Ganita Sutra 15, and Ganita Sutra 16, are of 16 letters range. However, the Ganita Sutras 8 and 9, as they are having a middle placement and as there is self bridging of the gap in between them because of Purna and Apurna aspect of Ganita Sutra 8 and Chalna and Kalna aspect of Ganita Sutra 9. Therefore, the complementing and supplementing features this pair of sutras deserve their comprehensive overview, a simultaneous view for the mathematical domains of Ganita Sutra 8 and 9 are required. Ganita Sutras and 15 are the end pair of sutras. This end pair of sutras are of 16 letters each, and this pair of sutras as well, because of their internal potentialities, are having self-imposed internal gaps bridging methodology inherent in it. The fifth step of overview of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras comes to be a set of three sutras, namely Sutra 2, Sutra 3, and Sutra 4. These triple sutras, as such, are working out the gap transition between the linear order of Ganita Sutra 1 and zero order of Ganita Sutra 5 and 6. These three sutras are sandwiched between the linear order of Ganita Sutra 1 and zero order of Ganita Sutras 5 and 6. Likewise, triple sutras, namely Sutra 10, Sutra 11, and Sutra 12 as well, are so placed that they follow the placements subsequent to the Ganita Sutras 8 and 9, which have self-imposed inherent potentialities of bridging the gap in between them. Ganita Sutra 7 and Ganita Sutra 13 are a pair of sutras which deserve to be overviewed distinctively and as independent mathematical domains. Values of pairs 7 and 13 brings us face to face with the 7th and 13th geometries of sixth space. The 7th geometry as such is the highest order positive signature geometry, and value 13 takes us to the entire range of 13 geometries of sixth space. The third phase of having overview of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras as such is the phase and stage of visit of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras as an integrated mathematical domain. By integrated mathematical domain means that the 13 Ganita Upsutras provide bridging between the subsequent pairs of Ganita Sutras. The mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Sutra 2 as such is having a gap, a transition. This gap deserves to be bridged, and smooth transition is required. This being so, the overview of the integrated mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras is of 16 phases, and these phases as these are for the first steps are as that Ganita Sutras 1 to 7 are having bridging in terms of Ganita Upsutras 1 to 7. Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Upsutra 1 as such are to be viewed together. The Ganita Sutra 1 and its supplementing features in terms of Ganita Sutra 1 will provide continuity format for the discrete values range. Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Sutra 1 shall be overviewed together. Likewise, Ganita Sutra 2 and Ganita Sutra 2, Ganita Sutra 3 and Sutra 3, and we will reach up till Ganita Sutra 7 and Ganita Sutra 7. These 7 steps of overview as such are having attainment of continuity, starting with the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 and having a reach up till the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 7. A step ahead, Ganita Sutra 8, Puran Apuran Dhyam, is full of potentialities which of its own provides bridging of the gap for smooth transition to the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 9, and therefore it is this middle placement of this pair of sutras which have their distinctive role. Ganita Sutra 9 onwards up till Ganita Sutra 14 is having again their bridging of gaps in terms of Ganita Upsutras 8 to Ganita's Upsutra 13. Then the final phase and stage of the integrated mathematical domain overview is to be of distinct visits mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 15 and Ganita Sutra 16. Both these sutras are of 60 letters, compositions, and are full of potentialities of having bridging of their gap of their own. The fourth phase of the overview will be the visits of mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras. This will be at first step of Ganita Sutras 1 to 5, then Ganita Sutra 6 and 7 to be taken up together, Ganita Sutras 8 and 9 also to be taken up together, then Ganita Sutra Sutra 10 is to be taken up independently, 11 and 12 again will be taken up together, and Ganita Sutra 13 will be taken up independently. In the coming sessions, first of all, we shall be having overview visits of these mathematical domains as per this organization reached at. It is only subsequent to the perfection of insight regarding the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra, the Root Sutras, that we shall be entering mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras for their step-by-step processing to have full imbibing of this domain and the processing step, this very domain. Thank you very much.